This is the inspector now. Just a few more questions.
Well, I haven't...
Evening, sir. This is Diana Klled. She reported the incident, and she's already identified the body.
Yes. Dr. Reynolds is on his way.
The deceased is one Stephanie Grigaliche, sir.
Stephanie?
Grigaliche. Believed to be 21 years of age.
I thought she was older.
Well, not according to Miss Klled.
That's right. Get old quick in this game.
So how well do you know the deceased?
Just somebody to say hello to. No more than that.
And what happened tonight?
I already told this cop. I mean, policeman.
So tell this cop.
Look, I'm a working girl. Time's money.
Yes, and you're doing a public service, I know. Just tell me what happened, please.
Well, it was about 10 o'clock, getting dark. Been servicing a client, he dropped me off in the square. Started to walk down the hill to my pitch, past the alley. Didn't see Stephanie, so I thought she was working.
Servicing a client?
Aye, that's what I thought. Anyway, I walked down the hill. I used to be up nearer the square, but... well, you move with the times, or time moves you. But I'm still a long way off from having to stand down by the bus station, you know what I mean?
Just tell me what you saw, Miss Klled.
Well, I saw Stephanie wasn't there, so I didn't think anything about it. But I just glanced up the alley. It was light enough to see along it. There was lights from the offices and that. And I saw a pair of legs sticking out from a pile of black bags. I went up and saw it was Stephanie. All bloody with a knife in her throat. So I ran down to Pitt Street and told the police. Mother of God. I never want to see anything like that again. It was terrible.
You got an address where we can reach you, Diana?
Aye. Carthamlock.
Bonnie suburbia, eh?
Eh? Listen, I've got a 3 apartment and a couple of kids. My man walked out and that's why I'm doing this.
Who's watching your kids?
My mother. She thinks I've got a job in the nightclub. I don't miss my man. He used to give me terrible doings. See, in this job you get handled like a lump of horse meat, but the punters treat me better than my man ever did. They're some of the real gentlemen.
Well, that's Dr. Reynolds arrived now, sir.
All right. Miss Klled, give your statement to this officer. It may well be that we'll get you to clarify a point or two later.
Listen, if you do have to come to the house, you'll watch what you say in front of the kids and my mother, right?
Dr. Reynolds.
Oh, Inspector Donahue. Fortunately, I was at the GRI, not far to come. Oh, what have we got this time?
Young female, sir. Apparently been stabbed just down the alley here. Dr. Chan has pronounced the girl dead, but we haven't touched anything. He's still at the locus, sir. I think he'd like to observe your work.
Oh, by all means, I'm honoured. All right, Inspector, I'll just get my tools.
Aye, and you looking for business? Or are you a cop?
Cop.
Might have known. You guys have frightened the punters off. All those blue lights.
You're taking a risk approaching me. Not worried I might book you for importuning?
Nah, you're not with the Vice, else I'd have recognised you. It's only Vice or PCs trying to get their arrest rates up that lift you. I think you've got more important things to do than throw me in the tank. Anyway, I'm sorry I bothered you.
Oh, no bother. Do you work here every night?
Look, I gave my details already. I didn't see anything.
Aye, aye. Well, your friend's doing all right, I see. Girl in the fur coat there, just getting to the BMW.
Aye, that's Sandra, one of our regulars. A businessman. Comes up from Birmingham most weeks. Phones ahead and she keeps herself available for him. She'll be back in an hour. Maybe do a bit more business. Not tonight though, with you guys. I reckon it's early bedtimes for most of us. Anyway, Sandra's regular makes it in her interest to wait for him. See the fur coat? Full length mink. That's how much it's in her interest.
She can make that much?
Easy. Well, come on, give us a light.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Sandra could make that in 6 or 7 nights. Tax-free and strictly cash. Or maybe in kind. Like that coat.
Well, that was given to her.
Ah, a regular, the guy in the BMW. He's in the fur trade. It's slightly defective. Some of the stitching goes wonky for about 3 inches, but it's enough to prevent it being retailed. So he brings it to her. A wee gift, a freebie, he says. A wee gift for you, Bonnie lass, he says. And that's on top of, not instead of.
Can't be bad, eh?
It's better than working in an office. And we do a service. Sandra's regular says it keeps his marriage together. Well, that's what he says. Says he can live with his wife just as long as he sees Sandra for an hour or two when he's in Glasgow, which is most weeks. Sandra's just got to be available. She gets a day's notice and she's got to keep herself clean. We get the AIDS test done twice a month. We're both spotless.
At least you were, after your last test.
We don't take chances. You want to do it without a rubber? Away down to the bottom of the hill or get across to Glasgow Green. There's some real animals in the green.
You don't take men home?
No way, Jim, never. In cars, hotel rooms, in guys' flats, down some alley.
Down some alley? You know where that girl was found tonight?
Down the alley, I know. The word went up the street like wildfire. A lot of the girls went home or stood in Cadogan Street for the night. But it's a bit difficult moving on to somebody else's pitch. And like I say, if you go down there...
Oh, did you know her? The dead girl?
Aye. I mean, I knew her to see, I recognised her. Said hi, how you doing, things like that. If we passed at night walking onto her pitch, we don't like getting dropped off at our own pitch. The next customer doesn't like to see you getting out of other guys' motors. So we tend to walk the last few yards onto the pitch. And if we passed each other, we'd say hi. We have to stick together. There's a lot less bitchiness in the street than in many another place I work. We watch out for each other.
You didn't watch out for Stephanie Klled tonight?
That her name, aye? Well, see, I was with a client in a motor. I know a quiet place in Killed. I came back and the street was full of flashing lights. Don't make me feel guilty. This is a risky business, you know.
You think she was killed by a punter? A client?
Don't you?
I like to keep an open mind. Is this where you normally stand? This your corner?
More or less. Corners are best. The guys in the cars like us standing in corners because it's not so obvious they're stopping to give us the once over. They have to slow down to get round corners anyway.
Oh, that makes sense. Had Stephanie been operating long?
Longer than me. She was standing there when Sandra brought me down to the square for the first time. Oh, I'll never forget that night. I was scared rigid.
Did she have any regulars, like Sandra's fur trader?
Nah, I don't think so.
Would you ever see her get into the same car more than once?
All cars look alike to me, Jim. Except Rolls Royces. I can tell a roller a mile off.
See yourself in one day?
Aye, don't you?
Never really thought about it.
Well, maybe my profession pays better, eh?
Let's stick to Stephanie Klled. You say she'd no regular?
No. She'd come on at about 6 and take her last client around midnight. Then she'd walk off or sometimes join the other girls for a blether before going home.
Was that the routine?
Aye. We stand a good distance from each other, maybe in pairs. But at the end of the night, some of the girls will come up for a blether, talk about how they did money-wise, or maybe warn us about a new guy with dangerous ideas. Stephanie'd join in. But I don't think she had a special pal, or was in a gang even. A nice girl.
Anything else you can tell me?
Yes.
Well, go on.
Well, it was about 2 weeks ago. I was standing at the corner just there, about maybe 6:30, and I saw Stephanie, if that's her name, walking along the square in front of the RAC club. She was coming on for the night, I think, and she crosses the road to where we're standing now, and she stops dead in her tracks. It's obvious she's seen something. And this guy gets out of his motor parked just down there, like as if he was waiting for her. You see how they're parked, nose into the curb like that?
Aye.
Well, this guy gets out his car and comes striding up the hill as easy as if he was walking in the flat. And you can see how steep it is. He'd a good strength in his legs, that's for sure. Good strength. Anyway, he reached Stephanie and grabbed her arm. I mean, really grabbed it. I heard her let out this gasp and he says, "Right you," or something like that, and marches her down the street. Then he huckles her into his car, backs up and drives away down the hill. Next time I saw her was 2 nights later. She'd a bruise on her cheek. She was wearing a silk scarf up round her neck and she'd on a pair of shades. Dare say it was to hide bruises. He must have given her a rare kicking for some reason. I didn't speak to her about it though. Some of the others might have done.
You don't remember the make of car?
Nope, nothing except rollers. It was black though.
Black. Anything else?
Yeah, it had a pair of furry dice hanging up.
Yeah?
Okay, it looked expensive.
Can you describe the man, apart from the strong legs?
Well, he was short. I would guess about my height. That's 5'6". Short for a guy.
Not in Glasgow.
Do you want me to help you or don't you?
Look, we could always continue this discussion down at the police station. Maybe I need to keep my arrest rate up.
Okay, so he was about 5'6".
Dress?
Smart. What you might call casual, but smart. Safari jacket, some sort of light coloured slacks, open neck shirt. One of those gold medallion things. A wee hunk of a man. And oozing with money. That's why I remember him, even if he was only 5'6".
Dare say you'd go for anybody with money.
Just about.
Can I have your name?
And my phone number?
Name and address, please.
It's Hazel Tennant, 5C, Woodburn Court. That's Anderson.
Yes, I know it.
I share with Sandra, a 3 apartment.
Couldn't be more convenient, could it? 2-bedroom council flat, 10 minutes walk from the square. And there's whole families in damp bed and breakfast joints, all in the one room. Plate of cornflakes and a cup of tea.
We had a few contacts. Easy if you know how. Pull a few strings. Anyway, me and Sandra will be off the game in a year or 2. We'll have a bought house by then.
Did Sandra see this incident?
Incident?
The 5'6" guy in the safari jacket that oozed money and that huckled the soon-to-be deceased Stephanie
All right,
Klled.
right, aye. Yes, Sandra saw it okay.
Good. Well, you can advise Sandra that a police officer will be calling on her to take a statement.
Oh, God, is that necessary? I mean, that flat's her wee hidey hole. She's on the street most nights. Okay, I'll tell her.
Inspector Donahue, gotta have a word.
Right, here's on you go.
Well, I've done all I can here, I think. I'll have the body removed to the Royal and start the post-mortem immediately.
Thank you, Doctor. Can you give me anything to go on?
Well, death certainly seems to have been caused by the single life wound to the throat. Time of death could be up to 6 hours ago. That's based on purely clinical observations. But I really can't imagine the body lying where it is without being seen all that time. I mean, city centre, bright summer evening. Still, that's your department, Inspector. My guess is that she was killed where she was found. There's no hard evidence, but the body's in the posture I would expect. That's if it had fallen immediately after the knife thrust to the throat. That punctured the venous artery. Some bodies have clearly been dumped. They're found in postures the body couldn't naturally assume. And others are laid out, almost like a ritual.
Yes, I've seen a few.
Anyway, I'll have her clothing sent to forensic as soon as possible. And her possessions to you, I presume? Have you located her next of kin yet?
No. We're not even certain of her name. She's known as Stephanie Klled, but that can be assumed.
Sort of nom de rue. Well, there's a letter with an address on it. Gibson Street, if that'll get you started.
Hello? Hello, police? Is anyone at home? Hello?
Who is it?
Police?
In the name. Still can't believe it. I just can't.
It's always hard.
Oh, aye, has that happened to you? Have you lost somebody close?
Not yet. But it's part of my job. Knocking on doors at all hours to tell parents and wives and husbands about a sudden death. It's hard. I think it's worse when they just don't take it in. They say, yes, I know, I hear you, but she'll be coming home soon. She'll be back any minute. They're the worst.
I can bet. I couldn't do your job. I wanted to once.
Did you apply?
Never put myself forward. Reached 5'2" and stopped growing. I'm always the last to find out it's raining. It's too small, isn't it? 5'2".
Yes, it's 5'6" for women. They might take you if you're shorter and have potential, but not much shorter. So what do you do for a living, Karen?
This and that.
Been up to the square yourself?
Once or twice, when money was tight. 2 or 3 nights would buy me a package holiday in Spain if I was fed up, but that's all. I just played at it. Oh, like Stephanie. Out every night, flung herself into it. She did. She's bringing home big money.
So where does it go?
You mean this place? Aye. I think she was planning to retire when she'd saved enough. Find a decent man, settle down, have a couple of kids. I think that's what she wanted. She kept herself clean. No infections, no VD, no AIDS. Always took precautions and no kissing. She told me. She says you have to keep the transmission of body fluids to a minimum.
What do you know of her background?
Just what I tell you, she came from Bear's Den. She didn't talk much, except about what sort of night she'd had. She usually came back about midnight, or sometimes she wouldn't get until 6 in the morning if she'd been working the casinos. If she didn't come back at all, it meant she'd been huckled by the vice squad and thrown in the tank.
So we know her. She's got convictions.
Aye. Importuning 3 counts. She's fined £50, then 100, then 150. That's small beer. Stephanie could earn the total amount of those fines in a couple of nights some weeks. It's like a wee bit of income tax. Or VAT. Incidentally, some cops in Vice are pure swines, especially the women. Once they gave her a 13-hour tank cooped up in a wee room for 13 hours with other women. She came home with a sore face. Of course, nobody saw anything, so she couldn't make a complaint.
And nobody saw anything tonight. Street full of girls, and a man takes Stephanie into an alley just a few feet away, knifes her, and walks off, and nobody saw or heard anything. You're in a glass house, Karen.
I'm knowing anything. OK, I take your point, but I can't help you anymore.
I think that's for me to decide. Did she have a pimp?
No. She told me she got approached now and again. All the girls do. They say, have you got anybody looking after you in the street? They'll offer to watch your back for 10% of the night's take. She told them, walk halfway along the Kingston Bridge and start walking sideways. She didn't need any pimp.
Is this her room?
It's locked. It always is. Locks it when she goes out. Dare say it makes her feel safe. It's good to have a space your own, you know. A room, just a 10 by 10 bolt hole where you can be by yourself and not be violated by anybody. Suppose she needs that room in order to keep working. Her room, back here, and her spray for the street.
Her spray?
An aerosol, hair lacquer. Keeps it in her handbag for any guy that gets out of line. Stings the eyes like hell and gives her 10 seconds she needs to get out the car.
That's where she works. In cars.
Cars, hotel rooms, shop doorways, closes, you name it.
But not here.
Absolutely not.
OK, Karen. You'll not be going too far. We'll probably want to talk to you again.
I'll be here, or up the square.
The square?
Aye. I mean, there's a vacancy now, isn't there?
And the amount of blood noted at the locus and on her clothes is consistent with that, I would say.
So she wasn't killed earlier and carried to the alley?
No. It would have needed a working heart to pump out that quantity of blood onto the cobblestones. And the other thing that indicates this wound was the cause of death is that it's so obviously fatal. Depending on your point of view, it's a lucky or unlucky hit. Unless, of course, her attacker was well acquainted with the human body, in which case it's a precisely targeted injury. At any rate, the blood would have gushed out like water from a hose. It must have been obvious he'd killed her. Whether he wanted to was another matter. It's possible he meant to slash her face. She might have tried to defend herself and deflected the knife.
Can you say anything about the attacker, sir?
Well, this injury seems to have a downward plane, so he'd probably be a little taller than the victim. Now, on the other hand, West George Lane has an uneven surface, so he could have been standing on higher ground at the time of the attack. And without knowing whether the blow came from the front or the rear, I can't tell you whether he's right or left-handed. Sorry, I can't be of more help, Mr. Cecil.
That's all right, sir. Incidentally, I suppose the inspectors told you she was likely to be a high-risk AIDS carrier.
Oh, yes. Oh, she's that all right. Diamorphine into both arms. And her neck, too, I'm pretty sure.
Heroin?
Heroin. Well, have a look for yourself, Sergeant. Don't worry about the virus. We're finding it's very delicate outside the live body. You see, the dotted line.
Yes, I've seen these before.
Well, I'll do the HIV test. It's simple enough. And I'll get the results to you very quickly. But even if it's negative, make sure you treat any syringe or sharp edge with respect.
I think WPC Williams is at a flat now.
Well, not to worry. And what do you make of this, Sergeant? The inside thigh. Unusual place for a tattoo, wouldn't you say?
I belong to Dino.
Yes. A tattoo's painful enough to imprint anywhere in the body. But there, at the groin, it's a particularly sensitive area. That would have taken some time. Quite an ordeal.
Must have been some relationship. I'd like to arrange for that to be photographed, sir, if that's all right.
Of course, my assistant can do that.
It's something else to go on, I suppose. In the absence of anything else to do, we can look for Dino.
Oh, don't take yourself up a blind alley, though. The tattoo's some months old. Anyway, I'll do the HIV test and have the wound and tattoo photographed. And if John here will help me to turn her over, I've something else to show you. And we always do it clockwise for some reason. Yes. You see? On the buttocks.
No.
Look. Here, and here, and here. Scar tissue. Old lacerations, years old. Possibly an accident. Fell and broken glass, that sort of thing.
But not relevant to her death.
Oh, no. I think these injuries were sustained in childhood or adolescence. You can never tell what is or isn't relevant. I'll mention them in my report anyway.
So death was due to stabbing, pure and simple.
One blow, one penetration.
And the knife there is the murder weapon.
Yes. Well, the knife could have caused the injury. It's a slightly different emphasis, just to cover myself.
And the dead girl abused heroin.
To quite a marked degree, yes.
And she once knew a person called Dino.
Here you are.
Thanks, Elko.
You look like I feel.
It's been a long night. How far did you get?
Not very far, I'm afraid. She appeared to have worked the street for all she was worth. According to her flatmate, she wanted to buy a house and settle down. The flatmate was a bit peculiar.
Oh?
Well, shocked at the news about Stephanie, of course. Smoked a lot to calm herself down, then became quite detached. Stephanie's room was locked, so I couldn't get in. There ought to be a key in her possessions. She came from Bear's Den, but the flatmate didn't know her home address. She's been lifted by Vice before, but apparently always gives her flat address. Can't blame her. She wouldn't want her parents to know how she put bread on the table.
I'll check it anyway. Hello, Criminal Records. Yes, Detective Sergeant Sussex here, Glasgow P Division. Can you send me the previous on one Stephanie Klled? Yes, Klled. Do you want me to spell it? Fine, Klled. An address in Gibson Street, Kelvin Bridge. Yes, I'm particularly interested in a previous address believed to be in Bear's Den. Yes, perhaps you could phone me back and send the paperwork on by courier. Yes, at your earliest convenience. Thank you.
So anyway, that's as far as I got. She was earning money, taking home more in a week than I earn in 3 months. Stashing it away somewhere. Building society, I suppose.
Well, I'm afraid the post-mortem didn't exactly bear that out. All Stephanie's money was going on junk. She was a smackhead.
Oh, dear.
A high-risk AIDS carrier. She shot up. Track marks in both arms and on her neck. You didn't cut yourself when you were in her flat, no?
No, thank God.
She also had an interesting tattoo in a very unusual place.
Oh?
I belong to Dino on her inside thigh.
So, if we find out who Dino is, we might make some headway.
Maybe. Dr. Reynolds said the tattoo wasn't new. Anyway, young Willems, 4:30 hours. You sign off in 90 minutes.
Yes, compensation for being of lowly rank. You've got more chance of getting off on time.
Don't remind me. I'll have to stay until I hand over to Donahue. I won't clear the station till 9:30.
You coming round?
I'd like that.
I'll wait up.
I'll call at the flat first, I think, see if there's any mail. Papers could come any day now if the lawyers would just get their finger out.
One day at a time, old Sussex. One day at a time. Give me your cup. And a kiss?
Hey, I thought you were the one that wanted to be discreet.
So I did. So I did. You're absolutely right, Sergeant. It's my wild Dutch blood. Anyway, I'd better go. And besides, I've written my report.
It's all right. Shh, go back to sleep.
Dino.
Oh, yes, go back to sleep. For God's sake, don't speak. Don't say a word.
Dino.
Don't break into bloody song. Don't sing.
Are you having a shower?
Don't sing, you dumb bitch.
Dino.
Make up your mind. Sing or talk. One thing or the other. Sing or bloody talk.
In Condition Purple, the cast was as follows. Detective Constable King was played by John Buick, Diana by Klled. Detective Chief Inspector Donahue, Martin Cochrane. Reynolds, Gerard Slevin. Hazel, Anne-Marie Timoney. WPC Elka Willems, Anne-Louise Ross. Karen, Gailey Ranciman. Detective Sergeant Ray Sussex, Ralph Riech. And Dino by Alexander Morton. Other parts were played by members of the cast. Condition Purple was written by Peter Turnbull, adapted for radio by Stephen Mulrine, and produced in our Glasgow studios by Hamish Wilson. We present Condition Purple by Peter Turnbull, adapted for radio by Stephen Mulrine. The police from Glasgow's P Division are investigating the murder of a girl called Stephanie Klled. They're looking for someone called Dino, whose name is tattooed on Stephanie's groin. Condition Purple.
Can I help you, sir?
Looking for business.
Something special. You got a light, pal?
Looking for trade, sir.
Looking for business, sir?
Something special?
Can I help you?
I can't make this out, Ray, this word here.
Groin. She had a tattoo in her groin, sir.
Got to keep it legible for the girls in the typing pool, Ray.
Indeed, sir.
Right, Ray, let's kick it around a bit, shall we? She was murdered where she was found. Cause of death was the obvious wound. She was a prostitute and a heroin addict. Shared a flat with a none too shocked girlfriend and was known to be frightened of a stockily built man with a flash car. She also has an unusual tattoo which indicates a present or past involvement with somebody called Dino. Is that a fair summary?
Yes, sir. That's pretty well it.
So, who's in today?
Well, King and Montgomery are on day shift this week. Abernethy's on back shift.
With yourself on the graveyard shift for your sins, Ray. Well, I won't keep you much longer. The way I see it is that we need to search Stephanie Krugalicki's flat, find her home address in Bear's Den, notify next of kin. Abernethy can talk to girls in the street, appeal for witnesses. Anything else?
Find Dino?
Of course. Dino. And whoever owns the fancy car. They may turn out to be one and the same.
Indeed, sir.
I'll ask Montgomery to pull his snout. Monday morning, or whatever his name is.
Tuesday noon. Montgomery told me his real name once, but I can't recall it.
Ah, well, it's been useful before. Meanwhile, what about the girl's possessions, handbag and so on?
They're in stores, sir.
I see. Well, that'll be King's first job then, while Montgomery's contacting his snout.
Will that be all, sir?
Yes, thanks. See you at the handover tomorrow morning.
Good day, sir.
Oh, and Ray, get a decent sleep. You look terrible.
Thanks.
Yes? Jack, hello. Oh, it's good to hear you.
Don't you usually have female officers with you when you search a woman's room?
Only if there's a lady involved. You sure you don't have a key?
Sure, I'm sure.
It'll break cleanly.
Okay.
No wonder she kept it locked.
Jesus! I've never been in here before. Never let me in. Wonder what she did with her money, though. Probably stashed it away. There'll be a building society passbook somewhere. I reckon if we look for it. Do you want me to stand in the chest of drawers?
No, we want you to stay in the kitchen. Just keep out the room.
I'll check this.
All right. God, she must have wanted a wee flat in the south side pretty bad to live like this. Wonder why she didn't spend it on herself. I mean, even a wee bit of luxury.
Oh, she spent herself all right.
What do you mean? She was pulling down hundreds. What did she do with it? I mean, where did she put it all?
And this, maybe.
A syringe.
Handle with care, Richard. She's a Category 1 risk.
She's what?
AIDS. She was doing heroin.
I never knew.
Now, maybe you just didn't want to know. Girl walks the street 7 nights a week, nothing to show for it. Only one thing drives a girl to do that, Karen, and it's not a 3-apartment in Shawlands. She was spending it all on junk.
She was a really nice girl, you know. Brought a cat home once, found it in the gutter with its leg smashed. And she took it to people's dispensary for sick animals, you know. Walked the whole way there. Stephanie was like that. She just kept telling me she was saving up for a flat.
You ever see her arms?
Her arms, no. She liked long sleeve things, even in this weather.
And it didn't occur to you she might be covering herself up.
No,
So, been on the street yourself then?
no. Well, yes, sometimes. Just when I needed the money.
See it as a way of life?
Right, I'll just do some growing up first, Karen. You're not ready for the street.
Nobody ever offered you anything? You know, to make you feel good?
No.
Not yet. Well, there's always somebody to help you out if you go on the streets.
I wouldn't take anything from a strange man.
Comedian.
It's not strange men, Karen. It's men or women you've known a long time. People you think are your mates. They'll offer you a shortcut to the good life. Well, take a good look at it.
Hey, I don't need a sermon.
So tell us some more about Stephanie. Did you ever mention anybody called Dino?
Dino? Mentioned him a lot. No, she didn't. What I mean is she thought a lot of him. Didn't say much about him, but you could tell she liked him.
Any idea of his identity?
He was just some guy.
You can do better than that.
Well, I got the impression he'd a bit of money. Like, I mind the time she used to come back early. She said she'd met Dino, he'd taken her for a meal, given her enough cash to keep her off the street for the rest of the night. Look, maybe you ought to go and talk to the other girls. They know more than me.
Apparently so. If you lived with her for months and still didn't know she was a smackhead, you don't notice much, do you? So, how often did she meet Dino?
Once a fortnight, maybe once a week. I don't know.
You said she'd no other friends.
Not as far as
Not as far as you know.
So, where did Stephanie come from, Karen? Bear's Den's a big place.
She didn't talk about her people. This Bear's Den, where even the muggers say please. I wouldn't know about that. I'm frae Postle. Would they take the pavements in at night, okay?
Aye, sure. It's very recent the record, I think. You mean the last year was filled in up in Blythswood Square?
That's her.
Aye, so?
So, have you heard anything?
No, it's not really my part of town, Mr Montgomery. You know that.
Come on, Tuesday. We're interested in a character called Dino. Ring any bells?
No, never heard of him.
Not worth another drink then, is it?
Oh, when you say that, when you say that, I did hear something.
Oh?
Aye.
Information first, Tuesday. Drink later, if it's worth it.
Do you ever hear of the Black Team?
No.
No kidding.
Come on, Tuesday. I'm not a fish at the end of a line. Stop playing games or you get bounced.
What for?
For unpaid fines. Have you any idea of the amount of outstanding warrants on you?
Okay. The Black Team. It's women. All women. They're too old to work the street anymore, so they jump young girls at the end of the night, roll them for takings. Sometimes they don't have to roll them, just walk up and show them a knife. Any smart girl will give up her wage. She can I work an extra hour or so and make up the loss. So, she's late getting to her bed, but at least she can still work, you know what I mean? You know what women can do to each other.
And this is the Black Team?
That's it, Mr Montgomery.
I just can't see a team of women going down the hill knocking over all the girls.
No, they're getting picked up and dropped off all the time. You see, a trick brings a girl back to the street in his car. She steps out his motor and the next minute, before she knows what's hit her, the Black Team have got her up against the wall. I'd say that was worth a drink, Mr Montgomery.
Aye, maybe.
I'd say that was worth a wee gold,
Yeah.
And a pint of heavy while you're there,
Hang on a second, pal. Hey, Jim, can you read? See the notice? If you've got nothing to do, don't do it here.
Police.
Oh.
Just a few questions. I wonder if you'd take a look at this photograph.
Let's see it.
You recognise the tattoo?
No, I wouldn't do anything like this. Don't know whether you'd call this genitalia or no, but it's close enough. Oh no, I wouldn't do this. The same goes for any reputable artist. It's got to be the work of a scratcher.
A scratcher?
Aye, a cowboy. You get them in every business. See, it's blurred, soft at the edges. Spacing's poor. The sort of thing school kids do to each other with pins. Look, do you mind if I carry on here?
No, go ahead.
You take a pin, a ball of cotton wool and ordinary ink. Soak a wad of cotton wool in the ink, wrap it round the point of the pin and tap it into the skin. It's crude, but it works. And it won't wash off.
And this tattoo's the work of a scratcher?
Oh, aye. You want AIDS or hepatitis B, that's where to go. See me, I use clean needles, clean tubes, fresh ink, fresh pair of surgical gloves with every client. That's what that cost. I also test for pigmentation allergy.
Yes. Now listen, tell me, how long would a tattoo like this take to apply?
Oh, 2 hours, maybe 3.
Oh, as long as that?
Aye. I'll tell you something else. This would have been very uncomfortable.
Aye, and could it have been self-inflicted?
Oh, can't see it. Too painful. It's more like she lay back, bit on the bullet, thought of Scotland and let somebody, maybe Dino, go to work on her. Anyway, if you don't mind, I need to concentrate here.
Aye, sure. Do you happen to know of any scratchers?
Look, anybody with a pin and a wad of cotton wool's a scratcher, period. There's a guy just off London Road's got a sign up in his window, tattoos done.
Right, thanks. I'll try there.
Aye, but if you want a decent job done...
The squad's still at the site, sir. But I think this is what we're after.
Certainly looks like it. Take a seat.
Thanks, sir.
Have you had a look at the contents yet?
No, sir. Brought it straight in as soon as I saw her name inside. That was a good idea, sir, to do a sweep behind the fence.
Yes, well, it occurred to me she might have tossed the money over prior to the attack. And if she did that, she might have thrown something else which could be of use to us. So, what have we got? I'd say there was a couple of £100 here, wouldn't you? We better count it.
Sir.
Looks like your black team missed Stephanie's wedge. That's who it was. Oh, this is interesting. If we didn't already know. Heroin bag. Empty. Maybe there'll be enough prints on it to nail a supplier.
£185, sir. Mostly tens.
And a letter. 1 page, 1 side. Father in hospital. What's this? Now out. Doubt if you'd be interested anyway, but I'm telling you just the same. Signed, Mother. And an address. 17 Stirling Way, Bearsden. Breakthrough.
Want me to get onto it, sir?
Yes, please. It's not a two-hander. Do the formal identification number. See what you can dig up. It's never pleasant, but it's got to be done.
Right, sir.
Oh, Montgomery, just a minute.
Sir?
I think there's something else here.
Inside the lining.
Yeah. Huh. One photograph. The charming couple.
That isn't Stephanie, sir.
No. And that's not a Robin Reliant. Black Mercedes. Smart but casual with it. Is he wearing a medallion, would you say?
It's possible, sir. I wonder who the girl is.
Well, that's easy. Tony, according to this. And I think Ray Sussett will recognise him, if he's got form. That is where experience counts. Right, Montgomery?
Yes, sir.
And with a bit of magnification, we might just manage to identify that pub. I think we have a breakthrough here, Montgomery. On all fronts.
Sure, I'd tattoo them anywhere. If they want it, they get it. Any design, anywhere. If they come in steaming drunk and want a pink butterfly put in the middle of their forehead, then they get it. If they don't think it was such a great idea in the cold light of day, well, that's their problem.
But you didn't do this one.
You think I'd forget a job like this? Okay, old Dino, eh?
Been in this game long?
6 months. No, I've been okay. Used to drive a taxi for the man. Before that, I was a steel erector. I fancied going it alone, so I bought this equipment second hand and set myself up.
No training?
Well, practicing oranges for a week, then open for business.
Keeping it clean, I hope.
Oh, aye.
Environmental health could shut you down if they don't like what they see.
I give the place a good wash doing the disinfectant every once in a while.
Every once in a while?
Aye.
Aye. So tell me, if you didn't do this, who might have?
That's the word, isn't it? And the letters have been good. Photograph. It's as plain as daylight. Could they run you off a copy?
No chance.
Well, as I was saying, I've given them tattoos in some funny places, Jim, but never there. However, you could try Fat Charlie. He's got a place the next street. Looks a bit like a scrapyard, so I've got to get to die on the fence.
But they get worse.
Wait till you see it.
She was our foster daughter.
Our only one.
Difficult. She was always so selfish.
Very selfish.
So she grew up here?
Yes.
That's right.
How long did she live with you?
We rescued her from a children's home when she was 10 years old. An awful place, full of yelling children. We brought her here. It was a Christian duty.
Our duty. Milk and sugar, Mr. Montgomery.
No, thanks. It will be necessary for one of you to attend the mortuary to identify the body.
I'll do that.
My husband will do it.
She was stabbed. Just to warn you, there'll be a wound on the neck which might be visible. Usually they just expose the face.
We wondered when you were going to tell us how she died.
Well, now you know. Mrs. Keyes, how much do you know about Stephanie's lifestyle?
Very little.
Ever met any of her friends? We're particularly keen to trace a man called Dino.
Why?
Did Stephanie mention a Dino?
Not at all.
Never.
Do you know where she lived?
We have her address.
in Kelvin Bridge.
That's not what I meant. Did you ever visit her?
No.
No.
I think you'd have found it a bit different from your home here. She didn't have a great deal of money.
She told us she was unemployed.
She was, in a sense. She was drawing unemployment benefit. She was also bringing in more money in a week than I do.
Mr. Montgomery, you're not suggesting Stephanie was... She wasn't...
A prostitute? I'm afraid so.
Oh, how could she do this to us? How could she do this?
We did what we could for her, Olive. Nobody can say we didn't. You've upset my wife.
Mr. Keyes, do you think I might see Stephanie's room?
Is that necessary? It's perfectly adequate, Mr. Montgomery, and you can see how she kept it. She was a difficult, wayward child, but we gave her a good home and did our duty by her.
When did she leave home?
At 16.
16?
Well, she was never really happy in Bearsden. She came from Postle Park, if you see what I mean.
No, I don't.
Well, there is a social gap. Stephanie never seemed to adjust to our ways. She was found by the police in a house in Postle Park when she was 7. Her parents had just left her there, turned the key and walked away. Never seen again. She was in the house for 2 days, no food, just tap water. She'd 3 years in a children's home then. Swearing like a trooper when she came to us. We managed to knock off a few rough edges, but
edges?
Oh, it was an uphill struggle. She wore Mrs. Keyes into the ground. No table manners, never wiped her feet, did nothing unless she was forced to.
She must have spent a lot of time shut up here. Knots and crosses. The walls covered in them.
That's typical, I'm afraid. Stephanie had no respect for other people's property.
A bare room. You don't have children of your own, Mr. Keyes?
No, we can't.
Sorry.
Oh, it's one of those things we've had to learn to live with. Stephanie was a challenge, I suppose. More of a challenge than we bargained for. If we'd been able to have her when she was younger, it would have been easier, but by the time we got her, she was set in her ways, untidy, slovenly. She was a very obstinate girl.
So, what do you do, Mr. Keyes?
What do you mean?
What's your occupation?
Is that any of your business?
Yes, it is.
I have private means.
Meaning?
I made what you might call a killing on the stock exchange quite a few years ago now. I don't need to work. Oh, Olive, I think Mr. Montgomery's finished.
Almost.
We haven't touched her room, you know, in case she might wish to return.
Did she return? Ever?
Not for any length of time.
A few days at the most.
To pick things up.
Or drop things off.
Our door was never closed to her.
Never.
Ray.
Hi.
I expected you this morning. You're late.
I know. Oh, I just felt so tired when I got in. I flaked out. Couldn't even phone.
I thought that's what had happened. You're forgiven, old Sussex. I'm just about to put on some coffee. Have you eaten?
Well, I might have if somebody hadn't raided my shelf in the fridge. Teeth mats in the Scottish cheddar, the last tea bag gone.
Oh.
I'm too old for bedsit life, Elka.
You've had nothing.
I did raid somebody else's coffee jar.
So it's late breakfast. Bacon and eggs? And some real coffee?
Lovely.
So how did the handover go?
Fine, okay. Donohue's putting Montgomery onto his snout, see if he's heard anything. I think they'll be going back to the girl's flat. Usual routine. Usual grind.
Are you feeling all right, Leafia? Ray?
Fine. I came over via Rutherglen. Stopped at the house.
Oh.
Yes. I had to pick up some clothes for the summer, more plastic bags.
Turn off the stereo if you want, Ray.
No, it's nice. What is it?
Mozart. So was your wife at home?
Uh-huh. And my son. Yes, she's done a great job on him. First class.
I'm sorry, Ray.
Hmm.
Ray, come here. It won't be long now, I promise.
You mean breakfast?
Oh, stumbling.
She doesn't look too happy.
She's dead.
Oh, well, in that case, I dare say she wouldn't be happy. What was her name again?
Stephanie Klled. You sure you haven't seen her?
Positive. She's a nice-looking girl. I think I'd have remembered her if she'd come in when I was on. I work in the square, did she, eh?
That's right.
What, insurance company, bank or something?
The street. She worked the street.
Oh, then she definitely wouldn't come in here. Definitely not. Was she the girl that was murdered the other night?
Last night, yes. You take a hard line, do you?
Oh, you have to, Inspector. Of course, they come in here just the same. Expensive ones, anyway. They age quick, though. That's what gives them away. A sort of used look. And even if they have good clothes, they don't know how to wear them. You know what I mean? They stick out like a...
Vice girls in a wine bar.
Yeah. Well, can I fix you a drink, Inspector?
Thanks. I'd like a tonic. From the bottle, if you don't mind.
Ice and lemon.
Please.
No, I don't want this place to become a pickup parlour.
So, you haven't seen Stephanie Klled? What about this girl? Or the guy?
I certainly recognise the premises.
What about the couple?
Yeah, I've seen them. And not so long ago either. A week, maybe 2 weeks. They had a meal. She on the game as well, this lassie?
We don't know.
Oh, well, I remember then. She was that thin, she was built like a racing snake. But she was no anorexic. No, she shoveled her food down like there was no tomorrows. Tossed her knife and fork on the plate when she had finished, instead of placing them, you know. She was well dressed, though. Brown outfit. Went with her hair.
What was he like?
Quite small. Sort of swagger when he walked.
A hard man.
He might have fancied himself as one. Certainly wasn't a businessman. Black shirt, some sort of gold gong round his neck. Good head of hair for a man of his age. I'd put him at 50.
50?
Easy. Looked as if he'd a few chunks carved out of him as well. But he can't have taken too many second pleasures.
I'm surprised you served him.
Oh, they were in and served before I'd properly clocked them. People like that pay my mortgage whether I like them or not, but too many of them when the place gets seedy. That's when the downward spiral starts. Maybe I could turn over more money if I let the place get seedy in a flash sort of way, but I'm a family man and I've got my bears to think about.
Your bears?
My wains. The wife's blonde, so it's Goldilocks and the three bears. Get it? Anyway, one of these days they'll want to know what sort of gaff their dad runs, and I'll have to look them in the eye. I've got to mind that day.
Very wise.
Are you a family man, sir?
2. One of each. Not started secondary yet.
Oh, that's a nice age.
Yes. Old enough to talk to, young enough to need you. So, anyway, this guy and the woman, you just saw them the once?
Aye.
About 2 weeks ago?
Aye, I think so.
You never saw them separately?
I know. But the only reason I clicked them when I saw the photograph is that I remember them like that, as a couple. Him swaggering in, fighting the years, and her younger and thinner and hungry. It stuck in my mind. Oh, and he bought a cigar.
A cigar?
Yeah, I remember. I get cynical at times, you know. I mind looking at him and wondering which hole in his face he was going to stick the cigar.
What do you mean?
Well, he had a choice between his mouth and 2 or 3 others where a blade had torn chunks away. It doesn't show in the photograph, but his face was like the surface of the moon.
Oh, sounds like somebody we should know. Maybe you'll let us know if they come in again, either as a pair or singly.
Sure. Anything to be public-spirited. Mind how you go.
Oh, incidentally, you didn't happen to overhear the conversation? Possibly catch his name?
No, sorry.
What about the name Dino? That mean anything to you?
Dino? No. Don't know no Dino.
Dino? Where are you going now? Dino, where are you going? Why don't you answer me?
Out! I'm going out!
Why don't you take the dog out? Could take Sam for a walk. Well, that's not much to ask. Could pay the papers too while you're out. We haven't paid last week's, and you know Mr. Lenny's always too polite to ask. And it can't be easy for him these days.
I can't breathe, I can't think.
And what about all those files in the living room? You're not just leaving them there, are you, Dino?
Got to get out.
You said you'd work in the study. You've got the living room a mess now with all these files.
I've got to see her.
Well, you could tidy up before you take Sam out. He needs some exercise.
Oh, God, where is she? Where is she?
Dino? Are you listening to me? Dino? Where are you going?
In Condition Purple, the cast was as follows. Detective Chief Inspector Donahue was played by Martin Cochran. Detective Sergeant Ray Sussock by Ralph Riech. Karen, Gailey Ranciman. Detective Constable King, John Buick. Detective Constable Montgomery, Frank Gallagher. Tuesday Noon, Alex McAvoy. Mr. Keyes, Robert Trotter. Mrs. Keyes, Kay Galley. WPC Elka Willems, Anne-Louise Ross, and Dino by Alexander Morton. Other parts were played by members of the cast. Condition Purple was written by Peter Turnbull, adapted for radio by Stephen Mulrine, and produced in our Glasgow studios by Hamish Wilson. We present Condition Purple by Peter Turnbull, adapted for radio by Stephen Mulrine. As the investigation into the murder of Stephanie Klled continues, DCI Donahue has uncovered some new evidence. Condition Purple.
Can I help you, sir?
Looking for business.
Something special. You got a light, pal?
Looking for trade, sir. Looking for business, sir.
Something special?
Can I help you?
Yes. I think I'd still like to find out who Dino is. Well, I can't help feeling that we're leading ourselves up a blind alley, especially in the light of this information. I'm relying on you, Ray, to put the pieces together here.
Oh?
However, let's have King's report first.
Well, sir, I've located another scratcher, as they call him. He was out bevying when I tried his place of work. But I'd like to interview him tomorrow, just for the sake of completion.
Mm-hmm.
His studio's a garden hut in Bridgeton, ankle deep in empty Buckfast bottles. She does seem to have gone down market for her tattoo. So, it's worth a try.
Good, yeah.
Mind if I ask when we got this new information, sir?
Yes, some of it's been waiting for you, Ray. Photograph of a couple of Stephanie's friends or associates found in her wallet. The other was in my pigeonhole when I got back from Sylvester's. You know it?
The wine bar in the square, sir, yes.
Have a look at the photograph first.
Well, he's thickened up a bit, but he hasn't changed much in 10 years.
Nearer 12, Ray, from his last conviction. I thought you'd recognise him.
Jimmy the Rodent, they used to call him. James Maxwell Purdue. I didn't know he was back in circulation.
Served 10 years for murder. Released 2 years ago. Kept quiet since then, I think, by his standards. These are his previous. DC King should have a look at them. You've probably got them by heart, Ray. Not to put too fine a point on it, he is a right evil Ned. Convictions for violent crime, done time in Peterhead and shots. You'll see he's a knife man, going by his form. Carves people up for a living, and finally murdered a girl.
It's what isn't in Purdue's file that bothers me. There's 3 sheets here, sir. It's extensive enough. Age 15 up to the murder conviction at 30.
Ray, you're looking thoughtful.
I was remembering, sir. A man carved up in front of his wife and kids. Every muscle slashed. Total cripple. You won't find that in there. Or the man in Cumberland Street. Nailed him to the floor and set it on fire. God almighty.
That was Purdue?
Oh yes, that was him. Couldn't be proved, but it was Jimmy the rodent all right. We followed that animal's tracks across the city for months. Women no object either. 97 stab wounds in one girl. Another one kicked to death.
Yeah. The conviction eventually was for the murder of a so-called girlfriend in a pub in Polishaw's Road.
You think you might be our man, sir?
Mad, bad and dangerous to know. I think we need to find out who this Tony is, for her own good. Bothwell's lifted prints from the cellophane packet. Quite a score of heroin if it was full.
So now he's pushing?
Either that, or delivering. I think they call them couriers. Either way, he's left enough dabs in what was once a large consignment of smack for us to be interested, over and above any connection with Stephanie Klled. What was uncut, by the way. Pure as the driven snow.
I wonder how a girl like Stephanie got hold of that amount of heroin.
Well, that's what we have to find out. This is where we earn our crust.
And we can assume Dino and the black team are side issues?
Just stones we turned over along the way. I don't think we can assume anything. I'm sure Ray will confirm that.
Indeed.
The black team may be nothing more than a gang of female muggers, but we're still interested in them. Those girls working the street are vulnerable enough without being rolled by their own alumni. And the black team might well be up to their collective oaksters in Stephanie Klled's murder.
I'll hang on to Purdue's file just now, sir, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Oh, there's some copies of the photograph. Purdue and Tony. Montgomery can ask around. When does he come on?
Well, this is his day off, sir.
I'll wait outside if you like.
Oh, if you don't mind, Malcolm. We're not allowed to entertain friends on the premises.
Well, I don't think she's spotted us yet. Anyway, is that all I am? Just a friend? I thought I was more than that.
Oh, you know what I mean. By the way, where are we going?
Well, I thought a meal, a drink, then either my place or yours.
Sounds fun. Better make it your place. You've got the Scrabble.
I'll wait for you across the road. I'm afraid this will be my last night out for the next 4, Klled. I'm working a split tomorrow, then I've got 3 night shifts.
A split?
11 till 2, 7 till 11. It's murder. Fancy a Chinese?
Oh, great. What about something sweet and sour?
I could do a takeaway, whatever. That's it. Cloying.
What?
I was trying to think of a word earlier. I've got it now. Cloying. I had to visit a house in Bearsden. Middle-aged couple, very overdressed. Looked as if they were just about to go out, but weren't, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I was trying to find a word to describe their relationship. That's it.
Cloying?
Yeah.
Meals on wheels, Sergeant?
You're rich.
How do you mean?
English idiom? Rich. It means...
I know what it means, Ray.
Well, you're always going on about the need for discretion. And here you are with a compromising tea tray in full view of everybody.
In full view of nobody, old Sussex. It's as quiet as the grave up here. And if you're going to be shocked, I'll just take it away again.
Cheers. Or whatever the Dutch is.
Prost. For the 10th time. So, what are you reading?
It's a file on one Jimmy the Rodent Purdue. Hello, Sussex.
Ray, I'd like a word if it's convenient. The collator's just come up with something on Tony.
Right there, sir. It's Donahue. I told you were taking a risk. Now I'll get to set an example, like.
Quite right, too.
This is either a gem or a spanner in the works, depending on how you look at it. From what the collator's just turned up, the girl in the photograph is Tony Durham, reported missing 7 days ago. Now, if Stephanie took the photograph, she must have known these two socially.
Or professionally.
Or professionally, yes. Jimmy the Rodent runs a black Mercedes. This is obviously his. And Stephanie was seen to show fear of a man in an expensive black car.
So he's the man who took her off the street and returned her after a bruising?
It would appear so. Jimmy the Rodent and Tony Durham were friendly enough to have a drink and a meal together at Sylvester's about 2 weeks ago, shortly before she disappeared. I think the case is beginning to shape up, Ray. And if we can summarise, we have a known felon, convictions for murder and assault, especially knife attacks. He's the known associate of one girl who has disappeared and another who's been murdered, significantly by stabbing. The murdered girl was a smackhead and had the remains of a large quantity of heroin on her person, with Jimmy the Rodent's dabs on. Smells, doesn't it?
Like a pile of rotting leaves.
So, we need to locate Purdue. Have a chat with him. Let's talk to the girls in the street again. I'd like to know more about the black team. See if any of the girls have a line on Tony Durham's whereabouts.
Tony will be in a shallow grave somewhere.
I think she will too, Ray. So it'll be a double murder. Is Montgomery in yet?
Malcolm. Hey, Malcolm. You awake?
Yeah. What is it?
Have you always been a cop?
More or less.
What does that mean?
Means I was a student once.
Really?
Yeah. You're not the only one with an education, you know. I studied law at Edinburgh. I was going to practice.
Oh, what? Till you got it right?
God, Klled. That joke's old as pushing up daisies. And it wasn't funny to start with.
Sorry. So why didn't you practice? I mean...
Didn't like lawyers. Smug, self-satisfied buggers mostly. I met guys who would tell you quite openly they were studying law for the sole reason that nobody's ever heard of a poor solicitor.
And is that a crime, your worship?
Maybe.
Suppose I told you I became a student because I wanted to take the sugar boat.
The sugar boat?
It's an old Greenock expression. It comes from the days when sailing ships used to bring sugar cane from the West Indies into Tatum Lyles at Greenock and then go back out again. If somebody leaves town, we still say they've taken the sugar boat. I wanted to take the sugar boat. So here I am. Junior Honours History. The subject doesn't matter, as long as it gets me a ticket on that boat. I mean, the only thing to do in Greenock is get drunk and make babies.
That's different. That's surviving. The guys that drove me out of Edinburgh were into nest feathering. I came back to Glasgow and became a cop because
because I love the city. Right? Okay, Malcolm. I believe you. What time did you say your shift starts? Oh, God!
No, just told me to be more discreet. No fraternising with the WPC.
I don't believe you.
No? Well, I had you worried. Anyway, we have an identity for the other girl now, Tony Durham. She's been reported missing.
Missing or murdered?
Who's to say? She might have upped and gone to London. She might be at the bottom of the Klled.
You think Purdue's killed her?
Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. I knew this turkey years ago.
Oh?
He's a pure animal. A knife man.
That's significant.
Well, only superficially. Her injury had the look of a lucky stab wound, and the knife was left in the body.
You don't think that's his work?
He's a professional, Elka. An artist. If that was his work, then he must have been disturbed.
So there should be a witness somewhere.
If Stephanie's murder was down to Jimmy the rodent, yes. And it would have to be somebody he was afraid of. I'll float that with Donoghue in the morning, I think.
I had a look at this while you were out. What is it?
Oh, it's Purdue's submission to the parole board. Makes fascinating reading. I took Mandy for a wee drink. I took her to a bar in the south side. I had a heavy with a whisky. I told him to stick a head on the heavy. I was drinking all night. She looked at other men. We had a wee fight in the pub. I chibbed her with a broken glass and cut her neck. It wasn't me, it was the drink. I took her out. Some guys followed. I still had the broken glass. I said I'd chib them too if they didn't back off. I flagged a taxi and put Mandy in. I got in and said Rutherglen. Mandy was making sounds. Well, it may not be great literature, but you can't put it down.
Let me see, Ray. I said I knew where there was a hut. She kept saying she was cold. I told her to shut up. I said I knew a shortcut because she was soaking my clothes and the police was looking for us. We had to cross a railway line. I said, don't worry, my darling, I will soon have a bandage on that cut. We had to go through nettles and brambles and over a fence. Then we went into a garden and into the hut. Mandy fell on the floor, so I lay on the mattress which was there. In the morning I was hungry. Mandy was still there. She hadn't moved and her eyes were open. I said, you daft wee bitch, I didn't chib you that hard, and went to get some food. I got lifted 2 days later. I can't believe this. I know what I done wrong, but I'm brand new now, and if I get released I will be okay. This is frightening. I can't believe it.
No, nor could the parole board. Purdue got 10 years for the murder of Mandy McBride. She was aged 19, incidentally. He served every minute of it. No remission. The hall officer's report's in there somewhere as well. And it would amount to character assassination if it wasn't all true. He tried to chop a screw's head off with a metal tray. Got 4 years for serious assault. But it fell within the span of his 10 stretch, so he didn't notice it.
So he came out 2 years ago and disappeared?
In a nutshell, yes.
How are you going to set about finding him?
I thought I'd try Montgomery's snout.
Oh, yes. Tuesday noon.
You know him?
He's told me about him.
When was this?
I think it was when he asked me out.
You never told me.
Really? Must have slipped my mind.
Listen, nothing slips your mind. So what did you tell him?
I said I'd think about it.
And did you?
I can't remember.
So what was his line? His strategy?
Oh, something like, we need to get to know each other better to make a good team. He said he thought we had a natural affinity, a good rapport. I think he was implying that we could touch souls.
Did you believe him?
Ray, I may be Dutch, but I'm not wearing clogs. What he really meant was that we could touch each other's flesh.
Well, that's a good line, though. I'll need to remember it.
And use it on whom? You haven't got his panache, old Sussex. Tell me more about Tuesday noon.
He's some old dosser, a Jake drinker. Montgomery meets him in a wine bar. I mean, a real one. Up near the Round Toll. I'll leave a note for Montgomery to make contact with him. Purdue's got a loud profile. Tuesday'll know where he is if anybody does. So, it looks like your would-be soulmate's going to be busy. Donohue's got plans for him as well, up round the square. Hello, Sussex. Thank you.
What was it?
Female corpse, partly clothed, evidence of violent assault. A derelict tenement in Finniston. Been there a week or more.
Any identification?
Yes. Tony Durham.
I'm a woman. Something you wouldn't know about, son. We just don't have as many years to play with.
I am sure I knew Stephanie.
Yeah, I knew her.
Where do you think she used to stand in the alley? Just across there.
That was her. She was, what, early 20s?
Aye, something like that.
Time running out. If she didn't break out soon, she never would. She was headed for the bus station.
Are they green?
God forbid.
So what do you know about her?
Listen, do you think you could switch that thing off? It makes me nervous.
No can do. Sorry.
Well, how about winding up your window or something?
Okay.
Ta.
Now, what do you know?
She was filled in a couple of days ago.
Found in the alley where throat slit fear to eat. It's the talk of the square.
What about when she was alive?
She was okay. She'd come down and talk at the end of the night. You know, part of the crowd. Talking about what sort of shift we've had. Maybe spreading the money around.
Spreading the money?
Aye, I mean, if one girl's been rolled by a punter, had her money nicked, well, maybe chip in a tenner each. It's a dangerous job, this, Jim. More dangerous than being a cop.
See, there's nowhere for us to stash our takings, so by the end of the shift we're getting into cars with strange men with a good few £100 in our handbags.
Aye.
That hour of the night's a fair chances after your money and know your body.
That's right. That's the first time I ever got talking to Stephanie.
Aye.
Everything had gone wrong for me that night. And I mean everything. First, a condom burst in me. And then there was the guy that wanted me to act like a 10-year-old girl. And when I told him where to go, he bounced my face off the dashboard a couple of times.
Pig.
I tell you, it was a long night. And then, at the end up, I was driven on to a Gap site in the south side and rolled for my money.
Know what they say, Anne-Marie, things happen in threes.
Oh, Jesus, you're really helpful at times.
So, where does Stephanie come in?
Well, I went back to the square, found the girls in a group, told them what had happened and saw Stephanie. I'd never spoken to her before, but she was the first to dip into her bag. Nice girl she was.
She was.
She usually stopped about 1 in the morning, yeah?
Aye. Some girls drag it out to 5, but they start later. Stephanie came on about 6 and finished at 1. She'd swap notes and listen. She was the one told me about this violent guy in the big car.
Oh, I remember that. She said just watch out for him and don't get in his motor.
What sort of car?
American. A big cream-coloured American job. Couldn't miss it. See, Stephanie had got in, and this guy gave her a good doing. Didn't take her money. He just slapped her around because he didn't like working girls.
Yes, Stephanie warned us about him. See, some girls are dead spiteful. Some of them would just, take a doing and say nothing. Just stand there watching other girls get into the same car thinking, if I had to take it, she can as well. Stephanie wouldn't do that.
No.
So what happens after you've been attacked? Do you report it to us?
No point. Your word against his. No witnesses. You don't know his ID anyway. If you've got half of your life, you pick yourself up, have a good drink, and start work again.
You put it down to experience.
I see. Did Stephanie ever talk about a man called Dino?
Dino? No, not to me.
No, me neither. She did talk about a man, though.
Oh?
I seem to be her angel.
Some girls have got angels. You know, men are either good or bad. And see the streets. It's amazing how it brings out the good and bad in them.
You don't mean the God Squad. There's as many women as men in that.
No, I'm not talking about them.
They come up the square every Friday night, handing out leaflets, trying to get us to go to church. Nae hearing to them, but singing hymns never paid the rent.
Or your supplier, eh?
Aye.
Anyway, tell me about the good guys.
Well, some guys want to protect you.
Pimps?
Oh no, I don't mean them. See, I've got an angel. He's a businessman. Comes up to Glasgow maybe 2-3 times a month. The first time he came, he was just looking for a girl to take to dinner.
Aye, sometimes it pays you to be well dressed, because there's a chance you'll get offered a meal. Some of them just want a bit of female company, you know.
Aye, anyway, my angel looks me up when he's in town and hands me a wedge and says, "Right, Anne-Marie, that's you off the street for the next couple of nights." He's even offered me a job with his company down south.
Why didn't you take it?
I don't know. I wouldn't want to exploit him, you know, take advantage of him.
You don't think you're good enough to deserve a break?
I've got an angel as well. He wants to marry me. Says I remind him of his wife.
Yeah.
His late wife, I mean.
So, Stephanie had an angel, you think?
I never mentioned his name, though.
She knew a man with a black Mercedes.
She did. And he was no angel, take it from me.
He gave her a right going over.
She was on the street the next night wearing dark glasses, hardly able to move her jaw.
Did she have a pimp?
Nah. Some girls do. Most don't. There's guys come up the street, just been made redundant, offer to watch your back for 10%. I mean, how can they watch your back when you're a mile away in somebody's motor?
So there was nobody watching Stephanie's back. Was the black team into her?
The back team's into everybody.
They've rolled you?
I once. I recognise them now, so I got off my mark.
You'll need to point them out to us.
Nae chance. They're real hard women. And if we get rid of them, there's plenty of others that'll move into their place.
That's no reason to let them get away with it. Do you know if Stephanie ever get rolled with the black team?
Probably.
She did a few weeks ago, I saw it. She was down on the ground, her wedge lifted, and the black team on their way before she knew what was happening. They weren't out to get her or anything, she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. It happens.
Aye.
It happens. Alright, another question.
Oh, come on. You're costing us money. There's a guy walking up and down getting impatient.
Okay. Tony Durham. Does that name mean anything to you?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, what do you know about her?
I haven't seen her for a while, a couple of weeks maybe.
What do you know about her?
Listen, I wouldn't like to say.
Well, we can either talk here or in the detention room.
Okay. But you didn't get this for us, right?
And we're not giving evidence against her.
Agreed.
Tony Durham's a fixer. She's into everything that's going, the whole scene.
Scene?
The square, the massage parlours, videos.
Making videos?
Oh, aye. All you need is a room and a couple of lights, a system for taking copies, a few props like a bed, or maybe a whip made out of suede, or a toys. People to act in it. Kids when you can get them. You didn't know what was going on?
I imagine Vice know about it.
Anyway, you get asked to work as extras. They pay better if the action's for real. 2 men at once, anything. They've got a studio in Scotstoun, a big tenement. Well, don't ask me where exactly. I was taken there by car. Tell it to keep my eyes down or I wouldn't be seeing anything. Ever. I really needed the money, so I agreed to do real action. I had to sleep in my front for a week afterwards. Never again.
Oh. Sometimes they use boys, you know, kids on the run for LSD schools. They keep them hidden, feed them, give them smokes. The boys call it flogging their donuts.
So what's Tony Durham do?
She's a talent scout. Looks for actresses. Only you don't need an equity card for her films.
She never acts in them herself. The big money's elsewhere.
Do you know where she stays?
No.
No, listen, we can't answer too many questions. She could fix it so we don't work.
She could fix us, period. So we haven't said a word about Tony Durham. Okay?
Understood. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So who actually found the body, sir?
Well, PC Hamilton called it in, but I understand it was a down and out, skippering in the building. Had his own room, I suppose you'd call it, on the top floor. Says he'd been on the road the past couple of weeks, just got back and finds this. He apparently passed the word to all the other inhabitants, and they were bailing out just as Hamilton rounded the corner. That's what caught his eye.
I can imagine. They must have looked like a rat's flitting.
Well, Hamilton sounded pretty sick. It seems it's a bit of a mess. Dr. Reynolds is on his way, and Elliot's been informed. I can't raise Montgomery. I presume he's still up at the square. But I think you ought to go out to the locus anyway, Ray. This is one for experience.
Yes, sir. I wonder why that always means bad experience.
He took his time, didn't he?
Aye, wasn't he interested?
Thought he was never going to leave. It's a surprise, young chap like that.
Just not interested in what we had to offer. What about yourself, though? You looking for business?
No, not really. No, I'm actually looking for somebody. Her name's Stephanie.
Oh, aye.
Do you know her?
No. And if you don't
Sir?
mind, some people have work today.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Listen, if you do see her, her name's Stephanie, right? Will you tell her? Please, would you tell her Dino was asking for her? Dino.